Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda Podcast for Monday, the 11th of November.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Good morning, Matt Heath. How's it going?
Good morning, Manaia Stewart. It's going badly. I crashed my car last week, and then I booked it into the panel beater today, and arrived and didn't bring my credit card or my license or any way to check it in or do anything properly or get the courtesy car or anything. It's just so depressing for a start that you've messed your car up and you're dropping off a humiliatingly smashed up car, paying an insane excess, and then just not being smart enough to bring any of the basics that a normal human being would bring. And on the back of a huge couple of days in Dunedin for the Beer Fest, just riddled with self-hatred to start with. I just said to the guy, I'm going to just leave. Yeah. I'm just going to order an Uber and leave. I can't, it's not, we can't.
I'll be in touch.
Yeah,
Someone will be in touch.
Something. I'm leaving my car here. Something will happen.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I hate spending money on my car. It pisses me off so much. I already own the fucking car. Why do I have to pay you even more for this car that I don't even want?
Yeah.
I never wanted it. How did you crash it?
Just parking, and like I was on the phone and I was parking, like talking to someone. I was working something out, and then just turned.
And obviously for insurance purposes, you weren't on the phone at all.
Well, no, I wasn't on the phone in my hand.
No, yeah.
But, I was on there was a lot going on, and I was turning and then just scraped it right along a post in a parking building. But it was like one of those ones that has this sort of rubber bit.
Yeah, right.
So it doesn't affect the post, doesn't do anything damage, but just messes up your car really badly. And then when I was backing out, there was no way to get out without making it worse.
Yeah, because you're already up against it.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's like, and I was like, this is a disaster.
And that happened last week.
Yeah.
And then you went down to the Beer Fest.
Yeah.
I suppose a good opportunity to take your mind off it for a couple of days. How was the Beer Fest?
It was great, actually. It's always a good time there at Forsyth Bar. A lot of people ripping up. A few people asking where Manaia Stewart was. Agenda Podcast fans.
Yeah.
So, and I said, well, he's not selling shandies this year, so he's not here.
No.
Because you were hocking shandies a few years ago, weren't you?
No, I don't think I've ever been to the Dunedin Beer Fest.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
Oh, the ACC was at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just put all the events that we've been and done with the ACC together, and I'm not sure who's here. It's kind of like a fever dream. People just pop in and out.
A lot of people have memories of me that don't exist.
We just put you in from another time I was somewhere else.
Yeah, it does make sense. It does seem like something that I would have been doing, though. It adds up. I had been to that Dunedin Beer Fest once, actually, when I was still at uni down there. And I had a fucking blast.
Yeah.
It's inside.
I mean, it's great. I mean, it doesn't matter what the weather's like.
Yeah.
People are having a great time.
A lot of those beer fests are sort of falling by the wayside. That one at Beers at the Basin's been binned.
Yeah, right.
I think because, there was a period there where every man and his dog had a craft brewery.
Yeah.
Every bar, every restaurant, and now...
I was kind of thinking I had a sort of existential crisis when I was at this beer fest, and I was thinking, what is this? We're just in a big field drinking beer.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah. Well, I think we as Kiwis need to stop pretending we're doing anything other than what we actually are there for, which is drinking piss in a field, which we all love.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to just go and do that.
Piss in a field.
Just
piss. It's all craft beer and food, and then there's all these sort of, what do you call them, clinics on how you brew beer, and there's a band somewhere up from the far corner.
But let's just call it what it is. We just want to gather together and crush piss in a field.
There's this sort of Radio Hauraki zone where there's a DJ just playing a lot of, famous songs, but with beats added. You know how you... that's always a good time. Like you have Bliss, but it's got a beat. You've got, and so that place is just absolutely going off.
Yeah.
So, and people just drink the nearest beer, and you go, is this a craft beer festival, or is this just sort of a gig in the middle of the room? It's great. It's a great time. But.
Any notes on your 15th pint of hazy? What did you notice this time? You're right, though. But for thousands of years, people, the ancient Romans and the Greeks were having these orgies out in and they were just calling them orgies.
Yeah.
Like,
at some point, you had to have some kind of artifice about it, wasn't it? That you're going to a craft beer and food festival. You're not going to a piss up.
Yeah.
It's enough to get it across the line with certain people, I guess.
I know, but what if we call whatever happened to the good old days of calling the AC, like, we're going to host a party called the ACC Piss Up.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Pissing up?
Yeah.
And there's no sport event, there's nothing going on.
I remember when I was at Otago University, they always called steins. There'd just be a stein on, and that's just meant that just meant you were going to get drunk.
It was just called a stein.
Yeah, so there's a stein on Friday.
Or there would have been keg parties as well.
Yeah, keg parties, toga parties.
Yeah.
But there was also, I think I've talked about this before, the beer and wine stein. So you had to be at a beer then wine stein. So the rule was, I can't remember how the system worked, but when you bought your pint back, it got replaced with a small jug of wine.
Oh.
So you had to go beer then wine there, beer then wine, not fine. That was the joke. And this was run by the Otago University Students Association. It was the beer then wine stein.
And did it come in a stein? No.
Yeah, you had your stein.
Yeah.
But each one they were different. So when you returned your beer, it got replaced with a wine one. So they always knew that you'd had a beer, then you had to have a wine. I mean, the idea was just to get you as steamed as possible.
Maggot, yeah.
Yeah, maggot. So it was like obviously someone's great joke, the beer then wine stein.
Yeah. I like it.
And you'd be like, can I go for another beer? No, it's a beer then wine. So
that was their big issue. Like nowadays it's a bit, sorry mate, you've had too many, you got to go. But back then it was like, sorry mate, you've just had a beer, you got to have a wine.
You got to have a wine. Yeah. You finish this. You finish this pint of wine.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about your next beer. Okay. But until you've got through this pint of the cheapest, shittest 14% white wine,
country cask wine. Yeah.
We can't even talk about another beer.
Yeah. I'm actually a little bit on the back foot this morning myself. I went to Pearl Jam last night.
Ah, yes.
Did you get along to Pearl Jam? I suppose you were in Dunedin.
Yeah, I just sort of got back too late to go along. I've seen them before, though.
Yeah.
Good time.
They were a good time. There's a real bucket list sort of. You got to see Pearl Jam if you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And last night, because I think the ticket sales weren't quite as good as the Friday night.
Yeah.
Sunday night's a tough sell for a lot of people. So tickets were easy to come by.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I had a few friends that were out there.
Yes.
I've got a friend that always goes to bands and he doesn't really like bands, so he starts texting about how they're not playing enough hits and it's boring. Like he went to see Tom York,
right,
and the whole time he was texting me from Tom York going, "This is boring." But he just goes to every band and starts texting me that they're boring. I'm like, why are you at Pearl Jam? I know you don't like Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
So why are you there?
And also, if you don't like Pearl Jam and you're there anyway, just
enjoy it.
Yeah. Just
because
enjoy the
I'm not a
spectacle.
huge fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? Like
No.
They kind of annoy me. But when I saw them live, I loved it because I knew all the songs and you might as well just get into it.
Yeah,
like, what does it
that's right.
fucking matter? You're there.
Me and Lane went to fucking Travis Scott last week. Neither of us like Travis Scott, but it's the spectacle of thing.
At least that's only an hour of your time at Travis Scott.
That's right, yeah. He's on the plane, but he beat me home. But yeah, it's like the spectacle of the thing. If you don't like it, but there's 50,000 people who do,
Yeah.
there's something going on,
Yeah,
it's not nothing, and it might not be for you, but at least you can enjoy the spectacle.
I've got a friend that was out with Eddie Vedder till about 4 a.m.
Yes,
Apparently top guy.
he seemed like such a good guy.
Apparently just the nicest freaking guy in the entire world.
Where did they go? Were there any details or no?
No.
But light on the details.
No, because the phone call happened when I was at the. I just need to tell you, when I was at the panel beater dealing with the other issue.
Oh,
So I was getting the details. I was like, I'll ring you back for more details later.
No, he does. He did seem like a great dude. Obviously, he's getting on in age these days. He's not swinging off the fucking rafters or the camera boom anymore.
Is he still doing BMXing around the car park?
He's not BMXing around the car park. Although he did say he was riding around the city on bikes over the last 2 days. And one thing I would say is, it's so easy for dudes to come to New Zealand and just not give a fuck where they are and just be like, "What's up, Australia? How's it all going?" and blah, blah, blah. But nah, he genuinely, was spinning a few yarns about New Zealand and how much he loved Auckland and blah, blah, blah. Sky Tower versus the Seattle bloody big spike thing they got.
Yeah.
And then he got a kid up on stage. This kid had written a big sign. He'd drawn a picture of Eddie Vedder's actual guitar and then said, "Eddie, can I play your guitar?" And then turned the sign around. And the kid had written a set list of all of the songs he knew how to play, so that Eddie Vedder could look at the sign and get him up, and like
that's brilliant.
Yeah, rather than just can I play the guitar?
That is organised.
Yeah, it was a step further. Like
because you might just be he can't just throw you in with some Pearl Jam B-side you've never heard before.
No, and so they got him up there eventually. Before they did, they brought Neil Finn out.
Yeah,
and they sung a song together. But then they got this kid up there, and the kid was playing along. And then he started taking a few liberties, started taking a couple of solos, and that's when I realised, this dude's guitar's not turned on. Because he was just playing along with the chords at the start, and then he started getting a little bit outside of his crease.
Well, that's the key, because you can put the person, you can put a guitarist through the foldback, but not through the speakers.
So he would have heard himself wailing.
And thought, okay. But that's what coincidence you should bring up Neil Finn before that, because when Neil Finn first joined Split Enz, because he's 7 years younger than his brotder Tim, and they lost their guitarist, and Tim Finn rang home and said, do you want to come in? And Neil Finn was really young, like 16, 17. Do you want to come and join my successful rock band in the UK? But Neil wasn't really quite good enough yet. And so for the longest time, they just had him through the foldback and not out through the speakers.
Oh,
for about a year, 6 months or something. And then Neil Finn started writing the songs, so then he wrote all the hits and then changed the band, and then it became his band.
Yeah, that is brutal. Oh, okay. So that kid's experience was he got up there and absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
And our experience was we just got to hear the song as it was intended.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Great.
Brilliant.
Win all round.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and, I don't know, maybe talk a bit of sport, let's see. Speaking of cars, Heath, we haven't crashed it yet, although there is a chance before the end of the month. We're selling our Ford Falcon Ute exclusively on Auto Trader. All proceeds going to Movember NZ, and you can bid on that bad boy now. There's $5,000 worth of goodies in there, so you'd be making money if you were to buy this thing. So to get bidding on the Kiwi Classic Ute, you can text Ute to 3236 for a direct link to the Auto Trader listing. And while you're there, tell New Zealand about your car. It's up to about $8,000 at the moment, but that auction runs to the end of the month, which is where I expect to see a spike in the bids, as they often do. The All Blacks played over the weekend on Saturday morning. Would you have been in Dunedin?
Yeah, no, I managed to see that, managed to watch that, and boy, oh boy, the first half was not a good advertisement for the fine game of rugby union.
No.
A lot of scrums.
A
lot of penalties.
Heaps of penalties.
And, I mean, the most exciting bit was there was a bit of aggro.
Yeah.
There was a bit of tension. And then it was great when we won in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I actually didn't... This was the first game I've watched that went back and forth through penalties that I actually quite enjoyed.
At least Damien McKenzie was just booting them from, like, impressively long distances.
And nailing them, too. It was almost like a rowing race, where the tips of the boats go back and forth in front of each other, and that's sort of how the whole game played out. In the end, Damien McKenzie won man of the match, but I don't know.
He did a lot. Like, he was dropping balls, he was kicking goals, he was everywhere. It was like that's what I love about that guy. He's just... It's chaos. It's all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
He's like running around behind the line. He's trying crazy things. Then he's trying to be sensible, and then he's kicking goals that no one else can kick. Hard
to game plan for D-Mac because, he's not it doesn't seem like he's a system player. He's just human X factor is what he is.
Yeah.
And I think was a couple of dudes this morning in the paper were talking about, are we starting to put together our own version of the South African bomb squad? So we've got Asafo Aumua, despite the fact he just started, but he's usually coming off the bench. You got Patrick Tuipulotu coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Tosi, all these dudes coming off the bench and just completely changing the complexion of the game.
I remember a while back people saying we need some big people in the team.
Yeah.
We're missing it. And then all of a sudden we have them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now we fixed it. Yeah, we fixed it.
Yeah, and we got some monsters on there.
You got Tamati Williams as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, that's the thing. There's no respite. You got 60 minutes of Tamati Williams. You're like, oh, thank God he's off. So, who the fuck is this guy? He's just
love that. That's what you need, just big steaks, big hunks of meat that come out.
And I wonder if that's Damien McKenzie's destiny as well. So I reckon you end up with Bodie starting and Will Jordan starting at fullback, and then just when everyone's starting to get tired, then you bring D-Mac on, and now you're a tired loose forward, and you've got the hot-stepping Damien McKenzie, who's just got off the exercycle, and he's coming at you. I reckon that's going to be hard to deal with.
As much as I love the idea of the All Blacks having a bomb squad, I also like the idea that you can only sub backs, but you can't sub forwards.
Yeah.
Because a second half, when you bring on fresh backs and you got shagged forwards, then second halves would be fucking great.
Cue the Benny Hill music.
So the whole first half is about tiring out the forwards.
Yeah.
And the second half, you go, all right,
what do we got?
D-Mac comes out.
What do we got?
Yeah.
It's like playing gumbits. I think that there's too many reserves in rugby union. It's ridiculous. A whole forward pack, that's absurd.
Yeah.
And I don't really buy into, they're going to get tired, and that's when they start putting their heads in the wrong situation, and that's, okay, maybe. But
Well, we've got a stupid situation where people get sub 1 minute into the second half.
Yeah.
Because they've worked out exactly by the trackers on their back that person can do this many minutes.
Yeah.
That annoys me.
Yeah.
It's overthinking.
It is overthinking, and then what happens is you change your game plan knowing that you've got that other guy on the bench.
Yeah.
So you go, all right, at what point did halfbacks only start playing 60 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't feel like back in the early 2000s people were doing that. I feel like a halfback was just on for the whole game.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Did George Gregan come off at the 60th minute? I don't think so.
Halfback is such an important part of the game. The game changes completely. It's like when you go from starting pitching to relief pitching. Yeah. You can have a game that's running really well, and then just suddenly every pass is above someone's head, or vice versa.
Yeah, or vice versa, which I think is what's happened these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think Cam Roygaard's going to be the number one once he gets a few more games under his belt. Did you like Rico leading the haka?
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
People are up and down about all that kind of stuff, but it's like, what do people want in sport? You want rivalries. Rico Ioane, I've heard a few. Sometimes he can be a bit problematic out and about. Who knows? But how good to have something in rugby union that you can hang your freaking hat on.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I saw people talking about it in the lead up to it. Everyone was saying, Rico should lead the haka. I was like, he's not going to lead the haka. There's no way. And then sure enough, he did. I was like, this is great.
It's great.
It's everything you want out of your sport. Like you just said, like it's against the whole just show up, sit down, clap politely.
Yeah.
Let's see some shit.
Yeah, let's get people that are semi-villains. Rico's a villain.
That's right.
He's a heel. I mean, he's a heel.
He's a heel.
Yeah, he's a heel. We need some heels.
Absolutely. What do you think he said to Bundy Aki afterwards? There was a bit of, as they were handshaking, there was a bit of a discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was heated or not. What do you think there? Was there a little bit of, how did you like that? Enjoy your retirement?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did say, he had that great comment, put that in your book, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which is not too bad.
Put that in your fucking book. I loved it. If Sam Cane's out, so we play France this weekend coming. Sam Cane, did you see the photo of the gash on his head?
Yeah.
Preposterous.
Jesus. It looks like something from World War II, like someone like in the back of like a ambulance in World War II.
Yes.
But
someone's hit him with a hatchet.
If we win against France, then it's going to be a hell of a northern tour.
Oh yeah. Well, then we've only got Italy left, and then
in this year that the All Blacks are shit, we're still winning.
We end with a grand
apart
slam.
from the Argentinian problem.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it has been. South Africa was up and down, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, the whole Sam Cane situation, isn't it? Because he's now more important than he's ever been.
Yeah, but he could potentially be out this week, and we need him. I think if he's out, Artie goes to 7, Wallace Atiti to 8, and then it's just roll the dice on, I don't know, you could put Tupou Vai, you could put Scott Barrett at 6.
Yeah.
You could put Finau in to start. I don't think it's that big an issue, to be honest.
Yeah, Scott Barrett's played blindside before.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Exactly. And there's no downside to having another monster out there on the field. The Black Caps played cricket over the weekend, by the way. I don't know if you saw any of that.
No, here we beat Sri Lanka in a T20.
We beat Sri Lanka in a T20, and the most Lockie Ferguson thing of all time happened. With the last ball of his first over, he bowled a bloke out. First 2 balls of his next over, he got 2 more wickets. That's a hat-trick for Lockie Ferguson.
Yeah.
Then did his ankle, couldn't bowl for the rest of the game.
Classic.
That is the most Lockie Ferguson thing
That
ever.
is.
Just come out, obliterate the opposition, and then just pull up lame.
He's a rough slow-mo when you go through his action, it's like, wow, boy, there's just so many pressure points.
Yeah. My knee would explode just on the delivery stride watching him. So he had a hat-trick. We did a T20 series, most cricket shit ever, 1-1.
Yeah.
What is with the even-numbered series?
Oh.
Is cricket
we played 2?
Yeah. Is cricket the only sport in the world that does that?
It's stupid. Play 1 or 3 or 5.
Is it because... I've just thought of this now, because with internationals, they're not really competing for anything. It's not like a league.
Yeah.
So it actually doesn't matter.
That's the weird thing when you get out of, domestic leagues and non-World Cup. Sometimes you were just watching a thing, you go, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
What do we get out of it? It doesn't lead anywhere. Like even test matches to a certain extent, they're called test matches, and it's like you're kind of testing each other. But, when's the real... The
test match one feels like because it's 5 days, it's its own whole event, I But the T20 ones,
sorry, I mean like with rugby.
Oh, right,
It's like you're just going around the world for a few years, trying each other out for the big game that comes down the track. You know when you've been watching, like me watching a lot of baseball, you're watching the NRL or you're watching anything and it's building up to something.
Yeah,
domestic sports do. Sometimes international sports, if they're just like
you're just
kind of like you're running around.
Yeah,
I guess that's why it's called a test match.
I suppose it is.
Because you're just going to test each other and see how good you are.
Yeah,
doesn't really count for anything much.
No, pride. But even then, Beefy Botham. This story just piqued my interest this morning. By the way, Beefy Botham, England's cricketing great Ian Botham, was saved by former Ashes rival Merv Hughes after a fall into a crocodile-infested waters on a fishing trip in northern Australia. Botham, along with Hughes and a group of friends, were on a boat when the accident happened, resulting in some heavy bruising to his torso, but no serious injuries for the former England all-rounder. 68 years old, by the way.
Drunk?
Fuck, definitely.
Yeah. I know some people that have had a few drinks with Beefy Botham.
Yeah.
They say he drinks like no one they've ever experienced, just downing bottles of wine like it ain't no thing.
I reckon that's the part of the story that's missing. He got tangled in some ropes while moving to another boat, causing him to slip headfirst into the Moyle River, 200 kilometres southwest of Darwin.
Yep.
The river is known to be inhabited by saltwater crocodiles and bull sharks. He said, "My catch of the day was the barramundi, while I was nearly catch of the day for all the crocs and bull sharks." Interesting fact for you, Matt Heath: there have been 3 fatal crocodile attacks in Australia this year.
I'd hate to go down to a crocodile. Someone told me that they'll drag you down and store you underground in pits.
Really?
Like there's some breeds of crocodile, and this is their thing. So they have a little area under the ground,
a scullery
under the water, where there's some oxygen. So they'll take mammals down, they'll bite their legs off, and they'll store them alive so they can come and eat them later.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Rip me to bits.
Just get me down now.
Don't store me.
Don't keep me in your terrible croc cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
The Kiwis played across the weekend as well, 54-12 against Papua New Guinea. Casey McLean, who you may or may not have heard of, he's played 7 games in the NRL, debuted for the Kiwis and scored 4 tries on debut. He's 18 years old. Is there anyone this weekend that you would have rather have been than Casey McLean? How good would that piss up be in Sydney? You've just debuted for the Kiwis, scored 4 tries.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And obviously everybody just has turned around and gone, how do we get him to the Warriors?
Yeah.
He already plays for the Panthers. We're never getting him. All right, let's take...
we might get him when he's 34.
Yeah, and he wants to move home. All right, let's take one more quick break and we'll come back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
I think we've got about 5 to get through today, so first caller, yours, please.
Yeah, g'day fellas. Just wondering, on the Kiwis Papua New Guinea game, they should have marketed it as the winner of the 18th NRL team. So the winner obviously gets the 18th NRL team, and the loser gets obscurity. They maybe should have marketed that instead of playing the final before it. But anyway, I don't know how Australians like to do these things. So anyway, fuck Papua New Guinea. What a hellhole.
Straight up Papua New Guinea. Yeah, so I completely agree with that. They should have just put something on the line here. I mean, what was on the line was New Zealand could have got relegated to Tier 2 if we lost that game. But they should have said, right, here it is. Winner of this one gets the 18th NRL team. Yeah. That would have jazzed it up a bit. As it stood, they played the final of the Pacific Cup, Tonga versus Australia first.
Yeah.
And then you look at the crowd after that, and it was just no one there.
Yeah. That's like if, Pearl Jam play, and then the support act comes on.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to do it like that.
Yeah, and then you hang Liam Finn out to dry straight after it. So,
it's not how it works.
No, absolutely. So
I've been trying to get a radio/ACC promotion going for a while. I'm not actually sure what it is, but it would be called the Papua New Guinea Pigs. And maybe it's we go over and we see what it's like. Because, you have a guinea pig, like, it's a saying for someone that's being tested.
Tested, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we go and see what it's like to support the new Papua New Guinean team in the NRL with the Papua New Guinea Pigs.
The Papua New Guinea Pigs.
Something like that. I don't know. It needs to. But we just keep it in the bank. It will.
It'll materialise.
Client will come on board.
I reckon it's if there's a client that's on the fence about a promotion that we want to do.
Yeah.
We go and test it in Papua New Guinea first. we are the Papua New Guinea pigs, and then we come back and prove that it did or didn't work.
Yeah. So a series of live commentary events of cricket.
Yeah.
We go and try it in Papua New Guinea. Yeah, no one turned up, so I guess it won't work here.
Strike that off the register. Is it the Export Ultra Beer Garden Tour of Port Moresby?
I bet I'd get an invite to that one.
I hope I don't.
I'll be putting my Lederhausen for that one and say, hey, Matt, we've got a trip for you. We couldn't take you to
to Germany.
We've got here's Jerry's second-hand Lederhausen.
We go to Port Moresby.
You're going to Port Moresby. No one else is.
You are
the
Papua New Guinea pig. All right, another caller here. Yours, please.
Hey lads, just sitting here watching the Pakistan vs Aussie game, and just thought I'd let you know my favourite pastime is to go and the boys get paid in the chat and give everyone a whole bunch of wrong tips. And that way it makes me feel better about all my bad bets that have gone wrong. And yeah, so I'm sorry boys if
Yeah, well, there's a lot of energy coming through on that, but I like the plan. Speaking of tips,
so stoned.
What did I say to everyone on Friday? Put money on the All Blacks because they're paying $260, and the All Blacks. That was that was just easy money. That was
out of principle, you needed to put money on that. Just for the disrespect.
Yeah, the disrespect. The All Blacks are never $260 against Ireland. Get out.
Right. You take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Yeah, I love that. It's diabolical. It's evil. It's genius. He's putting fake tips into the punters group.
I think maybe the Notorious Pants Man's putting fake tips into the Good Oil, which is our betting WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
because nothing's been coming through. Although he is having a big weekend, to be fair. Yeah, it's not easy to be cutting tracks on the dance floor at a beer fest while also throwing out tips on the next race from Trentham.
Yeah, and coming off the back of a Melbourne Cup blowout on Tuesday as well. So the Pants Man's got a bit on his plate. Plus, he's also the NRL insider. Anyway, another call here. Yours, please.
Boys, I'm trying to fucking pack up my side at the fucking beer fest, and these bloody clowns are harassing everyone and forcing them out the door. They're playing this message just over again. Can someone please give Wells and Mashy fucking shit for this? Fuck Jeremy Wells!
Did you hear the Jeremy Wells get out of the stadium?
Yeah, Jeremy Wells appeared. He did a weird thing. He didn't go to Beer Fest for some reason. I did instead of him. It was the last Hodaki appearance I had since I've moved to ZB. But I was appearing on a big screen, and Mashy's not the brownest person. Jerry is quite brown.
Yeah.
But sometimes a camera will pick up more than the human eye will.
Yeah.
And so they were appearing huge, like giant. It was like Orwellian.
Yeah.
Huge on video screens, just handing out information all day at the Beer Fest on these massive screens, with just Mashy looking so pale that you can almost see through him, and Jerry looking so orange.
It's almost a hate crime.
Yeah. And it was harsh for Mashy because everywhere he went, he was trying to have a drink, and there was just a giant him telling people what to do with the toilets we were in, and just constantly telling people to hydrate. That message you say when everyone's getting steamed, but you have to make it seem like it's a responsible event and it's not just everyone getting steamed in a field.
Which is what it is.
You've got to have Jeremy Wells and Mash just appearing on big screens telling people to hydrate constantly and not to vape.
Do you think not to vape? I don't know if Mashy should be telling him not to vape.
Yeah, well, Mash is there's a 20-metre high Mash telling you not to vape. Well, there's a 6'2" Mash, 6'4" Mash beside you vaping.
Yeah, it's mixed messages. Smoking like a chimney. Thank you very much for your call. Another caller here. Yours, please.
G'day, lads. Just me again, charades man. Really impressed with the charades this week. Both teams did very well.
This is on game 2 halves.
Just a suggestion for the year-end special. Just one of the categories just be Matt Heath charades, where he does it and both teams have to guess what he's doing, because I can't half the time. All right. Cheers. Love you. Bye.
I only did 2 episodes of that show. So
yeah, what happened? You're on all the marketing.
Yeah, what happened was I got another job during the filming time.
Same time.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Pants Man can give betting tips while he's on the dance floor, but I can't
Can't be in two places
Can't
at
be
once.
on a television show while I'm doing a radio show. Just can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I think my team has not scored like multiple points on the charades round for weeks now. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough round. But
how many more episodes of the show to go? One.
This week's the final, and then they're going to do like a end of year final Christmas special.
Oh,
so we'll hopefully get you in for that.
Oh yeah.
We'll see if we can do it a bit later or earlier.
Yeah.
All right. Just before we go, one last caller to get to here. Caller, yours, please.
Like a velvet wall hanging of Elvis, the leader.
All right. I reckon that'll do us.
I think that's probably a good way to end it.
And on that note, thank you very much for joining us, Heath. We'll see you later on.
Yeah. See you on Wednesday for my normal wounder.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Seem busy.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.